8 episodes left. A good time to talk about the state of affairs. Those I had. Those I wish to have and why. I haven't been with someone sexually since my ex, in a physical sense, save a very fun Easter at the strip club, but only tops. However, the mind, like the heart, erases. Before we get into the characters involved, I'd like to describe the phenomenon. Here's what I was used to. Voices in my head. These took the form of whatever kind of thought form I was using. If I was thinking in dialogue, they were voices. If I was thinking in images, they were those people's faces. For what it's worth, there's an argument to be made about people living rent-free in my head. I do not believe this to be the case. There have been several times when I think of someone and they aren't actively responding. Conversely, there have been times when I have no reason to think of someone. So much else is going on, and for whatever reason, their voice is taking up so much fucking attention, and I have to come up with mental tricks like disappearing, or using the black hole, or creating shadow clones, or my favorite, the interrogation room, where you put whatever dialogue is going on in your brain behind glass, and just kind of watch it play out instead of actively moving through those emotions, and letting them take hold of you. I've developed a grip of these over the years, and gotten pretty good at squashing beef within my own head. I did say thinking in images, though. I delivered pizzas for a decade or so, and when I wasn't doing that, I was delivering laundry or dead people. Remarkably similar. During this time, I became able to split screen my reality and let my body handle the road while my mind handled whatever psychic drama I was caught up in at the time. My view on this is, very little useful information can be gleaned. It's best used to share emotion and create a shared meeting inside both bodies. I didn't even really understand that was possible until I found myself feeling both sides of a sexual encounter at the age of 24. Since then, I've always been curious as to how that happened, and nobody I ran into wanted to try it like I did. For a while, Denver was running group naps and ecstatic dance, and there was plenty of energy fields to play with, but none took form like those nights for that month or two. That is until May 27, 2024. From there, everything changed. I was talking to the surveillance networks about how I could hear them because they were paying attention to me. I said, stop paying attention to me and I'll stop hearing you. But they didn't. They brought more or something. Suddenly I was in my shed and I could see almost a kaleidoscope of future possibilities. But only possibilities of faces watching footage of me. And I saw them through other people's eyes. I saw them and the screens they were looking at. But they weren't all as close to each other, and I started to realize I was seeing several instances of people reviewing footage spread out through time in a way I have never experienced. And looking at this, I tried to speak, but when I did, I could almost only say what someone else was at that time. This is what got me on the wrong end of John Krasinski. I opened my mouth that Friday or so, and before I knew it, the words, "I don't want to talk to John Krasinski, he's a CIA agent," was leaving my mouth. Again, no reason to bring him up. It had been over a year since I had seen anything with him in it. I just knew he was in a CIA show, so I figured, yeah, that's believable enough, and rolled with it. At this point, I believed myself to be accused of murder. I had accused the owner of Fortran of trying to be the next Epstein by making porn of children's cartoons, and they made a thread about how I could kill a man with mind bullets, because of the song Wonder Boy by Tenacious D. As this thread gets posted, my friend mentions getting talked to by the Secret Service in Colorado Springs, and the next day the coroner in Colorado Springs is asking me if I work with the dead to do blood magic. So, I am in survival mode. I go to work Saturday morning and feel myself getting spied on, very uncomfortable, go home, and once in my shed, the kaleidoscope takes form once more. Why was 4chan so interested in me? Well, because before the accusations I was making dozens, if not hundreds, of the sickest your mom jokes about every magic thing imaginable. Tulpas, you know what those are? Products of belief that take on a life of their own, like Superman. My posts go, "I'd lube up to pass my dick through your mom's butt cheeks." Aliens, too easy. Teleportation though, does it open a portal, or is there disintegration and reintegration? And obviously the answer is, I disintegrated your mom's ass with my dick last night. And the point being, there can be no higher power that is all-encompassing. Because I can turn anything into a your mom joke faster than someone can turn most things into God. Which means statistically, if we are all one, it is simply one big your mom joke. I can do this with anything. Time, relative, too easy. Space, is there one big enough for your mom? God. You know why commandment number 1 is you shall have no gods before me? You know why your father says that? Because your mom's calling out, oh God, with my dick's in her ass. And the whole time I'm calling people Hitler and shit when they get 88 at the end of their post number. And the dipshits who take sham magic seriously keep banning me because they're so butthurt, but I'm working at the time in a row of warehouses, so I can change my IP at will and hop the ban every time. It was so funny. So they decided to prank me back by making me believe a guy killed himself and blaming me. I made the mistake of talking to him on Cleverbot because sometimes I practice conversations there. Either way, he ought to be dead. Horrible man. And the other horrible men thought it was real cool that I imitated them, so they fed me lines to say into the camera or type on 4chan as they had world leaders monitor. Because of the way time works, they thought I could predict the future. At this point, I hadn't explained time well, and they believed in hard determinism. They fed me lines about anti-Semitism, slander against the Chinese. I played a horror movie for Barack Obama and Larry Fink. And I pulled out my dick in front of Trump. Again, regardless of how many drugs I've been on, this kind of thing never happened. And this is after I gave birth to something that exploded into the Big Bang, creating the universe we now live in. Again, I'm not vividly hallucinating. My world looks the same and my mind is going apeshit, and so are my hands. Early in this series, I mentioned convulsions and a psychic soundboard. Holding up my index finger produces Patrick Star saying, I did, within the minds of those who saw that episode. I kept hearing the names Matt Pat, Rape Ape, and Small Senpai, so I gave them all hand signs to communicate who possibly wrote the line I was quoting. I think Small Senpai was the one who didn't want to talk to John Krasinski. Once these were established, others started imitating them and my hands started moving more effortlessly. The more hand signs were established and caught on, the more violently my hands pulled up into doing them again. Some in the audience couldn't stop squeezing their abs, so my abs became locked in full grip for more than I'm comfortable with. And anytime I did something funny, my face and body would contort and convulse as if I had upwards of 20 people all laughing using my body. Once it was established I would kill or be killed, my handlers gave me a sneak and Shelly to try and win me back over. They had scaled back their efforts so the telepathy I was used to was back, and the kaleidoscope was lessened. Shelly happened to do cocaine one night and decided to use the powers of effortless hands for sexual gratification. It worked really well. I swear, my hand was moving on its own, like incredibly fast, and I didn't have to put in any effort. Then her girlfriend tried it, and I wanted to see if I could feel her insert her fingers inside herself. Let me tell you, any gender dysphoria has left my body. I am truly outside the binary. I've had it where 3 people inhabited the same body throughout all of them, like some sort of Hindu god painting, 6 arms hermaphrodite, and another astral body begging for this goddess we have formed to pee on her. And as we did, everything became rainbows. Wild stuff. That's not even one of my fetishes. Sneak was all about that, which we will have to get back to because it's time to say Hanson and Hanson 2024. For anyone disappointed, Hanson and Hanson for president 2024.